Hello everyone! Today we will see how to make a tasty red velvet cake with homemade cream cheese. To start off, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then take half a cup of warm milk and add half a teaspoon of vinegar to it. Mix it lightly and set this aside for 5 minutes. This will make the buttermilk for our cake. Then take 4 eggs in a bowl. Add 2 teaspoons of vanilla to it. Beat the eggs well. Beat it for about 3 to 4 minutes till it's light and fluffy. It will also become pale in color like this. At this stage, add the sugar. I'm adding powdered sugar. Add little by little and continue to beat the eggs. Beat for about 2 minutes. I have given all the ingredients list in the description box. You can check that out. Next, add 2 tablespoons of oil. And then add the buttermilk that we prepared earlier. Combine all these ingredients for about 30 seconds. For the food color, I am using 1 tablespoon of super red. You can use any brand of super red color. Add it into the wet ingredients and beat it till it's well combined. For the dry ingredients, I've got some all-purpose flour or Maida. To this, add baking powder and baking soda, and then add a tiny pinch of salt. For the cocoa powder, I'm using 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder. You can use 2 teaspoons also. Mix this well together. Place a sieve over the bowl and add the dry ingredients. Sieve it into the bowl. Mix the wet and the dry ingredients gently. Don't overmix the batter. Just mix it till it all comes together to make a smooth lump-free batter like this. Mix it with a spatula to see if it's all well combined. For the cake tins, I am using 2 7 inches cake tin. Grease it and line it with a paper liner so that the cake comes out easily without sticking to the tins. Instead of 2 tins, you can use 1 7-inch tin also. Divide the batter equally into both the cake tins. Tap the tins on the counter a few times to remove any air bubbles. Now it's ready to be baked in the preheated oven for about 20 to 22 minutes. Since we've divided the batter into 2 cake tins, it won't take long to bake these cakes. If you're using a single cake tin, then the baking time will definitely vary. Start checking after 20 minutes itself. Put a skewer or a toothpick in the center of the cake. If it comes out clean, then it is done. Otherwise, bake for a little longer. Remove the cakes from the oven once it's done and let it cool completely before removing from the tin. Now let's make the homemade cream cheese. To make the cream cheese, I am using 2.5 liters of milk. Make sure you use full fat milk. Add the milk in a saucepan and cook it till it starts boiling. Once the milk starts boiling, now we are going to add some vinegar. I am using apple cider vinegar. You can use vinegar or you can use lime juice also. Add the vinegar into the milk. Reduce the flame and keep stirring till the milk curdles. Once the curds are formed like this, switch off the flame and then remove the saucepan from the stove. To strain the curd from the whey, I've placed a strainer over a large bowl and then put a muslin cloth or any thin cloth over the strainer. Pour the separated curds and the whey into the strainer. Bring the excess cloth together and squeeze out the excess water. Make sure you don't squeeze out too much of water because we don't want the cheese or the paneer to dry out too much. Just fold it and place it on the strainer for 20 minutes. This is after 20 minutes. Now the cheese is well set. Take a small mixie jar. I use this mixie to make some homemade icing sugar for this cream cheese. So I'm using the same mixie jar. Transfer the cheese into the mixie jar, crumble it lightly and add it into the mixie jar. I like to add some softened butter or melted butter to this while making the cream cheese. This tastes very good. This is optional. I've added 1 tablespoon of softened butter and then add icing sugar. I'm adding 3 tablespoons of icing sugar. If needed, we can add more later. Then add some whey water. Add 2 tablespoons initially and then if needed we can add more. Now close the mixie jar and blend this cream cheese till it's nice and smooth. Blend the cream cheese for 2 to 3 minutes and then open it to check. I felt my cream cheese was still not smooth and creamy. It still feels slightly lumpy. Add a little more whey water. I added only 1 tablespoon. Make sure you don't add too much. Add 1 tablespoon at a time and keep blending and check. This time it's nice and smooth and creamy. This is the perfect consistency that I was looking for. So I did not add any more whey water. Adding the extra butter, 1 tablespoon of butter makes this cream cheese so tasty. So I would suggest not to miss it. Transfer the cream cheese into a box and keep it refrigerated for at least 2 hours before using it in our frosting. Now let's start with the frosting. Take 1.5 cups of whipping cream. Add 3 tablespoons of icing sugar and then add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Beat this cream for about 3 to 4 minutes till it forms stiff peaks. Once it forms stiff peaks, leave it in the fridge till we need it. Now take the cream cheese from the fridge, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla to it and then add 1 tablespoon of icing sugar. Make sure this cream cheese is nice and chill. Beat the cream for about 2 minutes or 3 minutes till it's smooth. Bring the whipped cream from the fridge and add the whipped cream cheese into the whipped cream. Add everything together and now beat the whipped cream and the cream cheese together. This you should be very careful. Beat only for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Don't over whip or over beat this mixture because there is a very big chance for this to split. So make sure you're careful. Beat it slowly in slow speed for about 30 seconds, not more than that. At this stage, check the sugar. If you want it to be more sweet, you can add more icing sugar. I added 1 tablespoon extra icing sugar. Beat it again for about 10 seconds. Keep this in the refrigerator. Leave it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes to 1 hour before you start frosting the cake. A beautiful cream cheese frosting is ready. This frosting was so tasty. It's the perfect consistency. Now to assemble the cake, cut off the top layer of both the cakes. Spread some frosting on the cake board so that the cake doesn't move while we are frosting. Place the first layer of cake and soak this layer with sugar syrup. I've used half a cup of water and quarter cup of sugar. Heat it nicely, and once it cools down, use this to soak the cake. Then add a layer of the prepared cream cheese and spread it evenly. Then place the next layer of cake and center it. Soak the second layer of cake with the sugar syrup and spread some more cream cheese and crumb coat the cake. Once you crumb coat the cake, leave it in the refrigerator for 20 to 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, add more cream cheese frosting and frost the cake fully. Decorate the cake as you wish. I use the crumbled up part of the cake, the top layer that we trimmed out. I crumbled that and used it to decorate the cake. So this is it, a soft and moist, tasty and delicious red velvet cake is done. The cream cheese frosting was so good, it tasted very delicious with the red velvet cake. I made this for a birthday in our family and we absolutely loved this cake. If you love the flavor of cream cheese, then you definitely must try out this cake. Until next time, bye bye.